Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Muslim Chronicle. I am your host, Ashraf Zaghloul. Inshallah, today we will discuss something that I always find in the masjids, a discussion going around. The speaker is telling people, be patient, persevere in this life, sacrifice in this life, and accept the hardship because the real benefit is in the hereafter. And even though this is a true statement, I always raise my hand and say, but why can't we also say that the benefit is really in this dunya, in this life, and in the hereafter? And I always refer to an ayah in the Quran, a verse in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, any male or female that does a good deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them a good life in this dunya, and then they will reward it in al-akhirah. So in a way, Islam is teaching us to enjoy this life and telling us if we obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we'll have a wonderful life in this dunya, and yes, we will have a great hereafter. And this is a very important concept where I don't hear a lot. In the masjids, they always say it's about the hereafter. It'll be great. But I look and I tell them, why don't we see that, yes, we should enjoy our life here, we should get the best in this life here, and then, inshallah, in the hereafter. And, you know, the one good thing, I remember watching a TV show, and the speaker said, one of the things about a lot of Muslims is maybe they learn how to prepare for the hereafter, how to die for the sake of Allah, but there isn't enough teaching how to live for the sake of Allah, how to, this life, we enjoy this life and live it for the sake of Allah, and then inshallah in the hereafter we will enjoy it. One time Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sitting with his companion, and they seen this young man kind of energetic going towards something. So one of them made a comment that most of us probably will say is, he said, if only this was for the sake of Allah, this energy, this momentum, this thing was for the sake of Allah. So Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him, if it was because he's taking care of older parents, it's for the sake of Allah. If it was for taking care of young children, it's for the sake of Allah. If it's taking care of his family, it's for the sake of Allah. If it is just to support himself, that he is not dependent on somebody else, it is for the sake of Allah. So it's everything, that's what we have to learn, that everything we do in our life is for the sake of Allah. Just to maintain ourselves and to be decent and honest and self-supporting, it is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the message we have to give to everybody, and we have to make everybody realize it. It is for the sake of Allah. And we should enjoy this life, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, who is he who is forbidding the good things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created for us in this dunya. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this universe, created this life, created everything nice, and we should not forbid it, and we should not say it's haram or wrong. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us certain things that He told us it's haram and forbid it, but everything else, if it wasn't specified that it's haram or forbidden, it is halal, and we should enjoy it, and enjoy it to the best of our life and work towards it. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, it is not the best of you who takes focus on al-akhirah and leave ad-dunya. And it's not the best of you who focus on this life and forget the hereafter. The best of you who takes from both. So he's encouraging us for that balance. And that's what Islam is about. It is the balance. The balance for this life and the hereafter. The balance in everything in our life. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah, God has rights on you. Your family have rights on you. Your body have rights on you. And give the rights to everybody. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rights is we worship, we acknowledge that there is no God but Allah, and we obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The family, we spend time with our family, we spend time with our spouse, we take care of their needs, we help them. This is the rights of the family. Our body, we should exercise, we should get enough sleep, we should get enough rest. These are rights. So there is different people, the community has rights on us, the society has rights, and we give everybody the right, and this is the balance where we are taught in Islam, khayrul umur al-wasat. The best thing is the middle. And Islam is a religion of middle, that takes the middle of the road, and not extreme right, not extreme left. The best is the middle, and this is what Islam is teaching us and teach us to focus on. So we have to realize this, and we enjoy Islam this. And I tell this for young Muslims. I would like young Muslims to focus and say, okay, now that Islam is telling us enjoy life and contribute to life, how could we do this, and how could we participate? And culturally, we find a lot of Muslims coming from the Middle East. The children, they encourage their children to be a doctor or engineer. And why? Because doctors and engineers are successful and make money. But realistically, the community is not built on just doctors and engineers. It's built on farmers, it's built on pharmacists, it's built on teachers, the whole lawyers, the whole thing. This is a community. And for us Muslims to be part of the community, we have to encourage our children to learn every aspect of every job and participate in every job rather than just doctor and engineers. I always tell people, you tell your son to be a doctor or engineer because they make good money. So when they grow up and their only focus is money, if you don't wonder why is that, because that's what we taught them when they're young. But if we encourage people to do the right thing and participate and capitalize on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. Because I believe that each one of us was given a gift, and our gift is different. Somebody is a great sports person, somebody is a great musician, somebody is a great scientist, math. All the gifts are different. And I remember a good friend advising me, telling me when I was young, do what you enjoy and do what you do best, and you will be successful and money will come. And it is true. If we focus on what we enjoy and we focus on what we do best, we will be successful. And yes, one of the successful things is we hope to make money and to be comfortable in this life, and it will come. So this is an important thing that we encourage our children. And as I've discussed in other episodes and in my Friday prayer speech, one of the things as Muslims, we have not encouraged our children to be historians, to study history and participate. I remember when I was young and I hear somebody is going to study history at university, I say, why is this person wasting their time? They can't make money, they can't make a career. But now that I'm older and hopefully wiser and I understand, it is very important that we encourage young people to study history. And I say one of the problems with Muslims is, since we didn't encourage our children to study history and document history, who has documented and who are the historians for the Islamic history? You will find it mostly, if not all of it, is non-Muslims. And if we look at the history of the third Khalifa, Uthman ibn Affan, I know when I was young, we were taught in history that when he got older, he focused on his family and he gave the good jobs to his families and friends, and that's why it caused problems. And we've accepted this. A lot of Muslims has accepted this. But now that I am older and I've studied history and I've studied Uthman ibn Affan, this is a man where Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam described him, رَجُلٌ تَسْتَحِي مِنْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةِ. The angels are bashful from him. This is how pious he is, how a great man he is. So this man, how could we ever say in his old age he's favored his friends and families and only appointed to high places in the government his friends and families? It is not acceptable. If we study his history and study the true history, we'll know that this great man could not have done this. But because we've allowed others to write our history from their point of view, yes, they can, when they analyze his personality, they can say something like this. So we have to encourage our children to study history and be historian to look.